The very beginning, we want to build powerful workflows with n8n, and because of it, we have created an n8n account. And here we need to log in and begin. So here we are presented with something that I could call a dashboard. What we have on the top is just a panel with statistics and several tabs in the lower part of this page. So before we jump in and start creating our workflows, let's analyze all the options that we have here. So here you can see workflows. Actually, in my case, those are blurred because this is my agency account with live workflows for my clients. But anyways, a list of workflows in our account. We'll see that we have a personal section in the left side, in the left navigation, that those are only ours. Maybe we're an admin for our account, and we'll see in the overview panel, in the workflow section, all workflows from all of our team members. So next to that, we'll see credentials, executions, variables, and data tables. And we will have this really nice looking button that says create workflow. And one arrow next to it that says create credential or create data table. So let's talk about these sections as well. So when we switch to credentials, as the name implies, once we connect a platform to n8n, this is saved as a credential, meaning we don't have to connect HubSpot, for example, every single time. We're just going to pick from the drop down menu when we add, for example, a HubSpot node or any of these platforms. So then we have executions. And these executions are from all workflows in our account. And we have several columns here, like the name, status, when it started, runtime, execution ID. And we have the last column, this icon, like a laboratory dish or a vial. It just means manual execution or testing mode. And the rest of those are production. Variables, for variables, we need to upgrade to Pro Plan or self-hosted, if I'm not mistaken. The idea behind variables is that we can set some values to be accessible throughout our account. There are use cases for this, and this could be useful, and there are ways to go about this even without these global variables in our workflows, and we're going to talk about that as well. So data tables, relatively new feature of n8n, super powerful. It presents but permanent storage, so we can, instead of, for example, using Google Sheets for storing some information from I don't know, some APIs or whatever similar situations, we can have these tables inside n8n to preserve data. We're going to talk about them in a separate video, definitely. So when it comes to this main section, this is what we have. And then on the left side, we have overview that we just discussed and showed. Personal is everything that we've seen, but only my workflows, my credentials, my executions, data tables, etc. So this is only for me. Share it with me if we're collaborating, multiple people inside this account, and some people shared their workflows with me. I can see those there. There's a beta feature chat, and I didn't try it out yet, but based on everything that is written here, probably chatting with agents to help us find and navigate our workflows and credentials and everything that we saw, instead of us manually searching for everything. So if we go back and see here in the bottom part, we have admin panel that takes us to an admin panel. We'll show that at some point in the future. Templates, and it will take us to n8n website, the section with all AI automation workflows. I mean, they're saying AI, but not every workflow uses AI necessarily, but there are almost 6,000 workflows here, so we can pick and choose and use, and we'll show that how to export, import, etc. They're categorized by different industries, and yeah, it's super powerful resource. Then we have insights, all the stats about the projects, about the workflows, and everything else. So this is one of the premium features, and it makes sense when we work as a team, multiple projects, etc. So in help section here, we have a lot of resources also, like quick start documentation, etc. You will see what we have here. And when it comes to new versions of n8n, if we have a little red dot next to help, we'll have option here to go to admin panel and upgrade our instance of n8n and to get newest features. When it comes to settings, we can have a lot of things that we can set this up. We'll cover some of these in future videos, and basically we can give to our AI agent, for example, with examples. Okay, for this input, this is what we expect as an output, and to see what the AI gives us so we can compare and see if we need to tweak prompts and instructions. again in the future. And the options in the upper right corner. We have a publish button that is disabled currently because we don't have anything to publish or to switch into production mode. We're going to talk about that a lot. Then we have our workflow history option where we can see previous versions of our workflow and also decide if we want to restore and publish version, revert back, download, etc. Then we have three little dots and additional options that we're going to cover in great detail, like editing, description, duplicating, downloading, importing, etc. Every workflow has these options and we can adjust a lot of things with these. And finally, it's time to add our first node. Nodes are building blocks in n8n, and they're categorized in two buckets, trigger nodes and action nodes. And we are going to discuss a lot. The most of the videos I'm going to make will be about nodes and how to connect and how to work with them. In this case, we're starting from blank slate. And if we want to add a node, we can click here. We can click on this icon here. It will open this sidebar with options. So we can click it here, or we can press N key on our keyboard. Up until recently, it was tab key. Now n8n switched it to N key. And we are not going to go into details right now of all these options. And trust me, there are a lot of options here. We're just going to pick trigger manually. This is the simplest trigger node that can be used to start any workflow by just starting manually. That's it. Congratulations. You have your first fully functioning workflow. Yes, it's not anything impressive and anything you can brag about, but it's still considered a workflow. And when we switch to executions, now we have that there's something in this execution tab. Just ignore previous two. This is the latest execution. And if this node included any data, we would see that and we can debug and trace back everything that happened in our workflow. Also, when it comes to using Canvas, what we can do, we can zoom in, we can zoom out, we can clean, and we will show that when we have more complex workflows. This is to like tidy up all the connections and connecting lines, and n8n does its best to just arrange that in the most meaningful way. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this option. So this is, we can scroll up and down. If we keep shift pressed, then we can scroll left and right. And with a control key, we can zoom in and out, and we see this panel here that shows us where we are actually, and then we can reset the zoom here. So this is one thing to how to start. And additionally, one super important thing, super useful thing are sticky notes. We can also right click on the canvas and we can see add node, tab, or sticky note, or tidy up, or select all. So if we add sticky note, this is what it looks like by default. It's always this color, it's always this text. So in order for us to change this text, we can double click and we will see some weird symbols like double stars, asterisk, hashes, or whatever you want to call these. And we can also change the color of the background. So sticky notes are super useful, so we can make notes about, I don't know, this node and just make a comment for our future us or team members, what we did and why we did it. Also, it's easy to visually separate nodes in logical, maybe parts of our workflow, etc. And when it comes to this text and these symbols, these nodes use Markdown. Markdown is something that n8n didn't came up with. I would say descriptive language, because, okay, let's put it this way. When we use Google Sheets, Word, any kind of visual editor, or on a website, we have these WYSIWYGs, or this is shorthand of what you see is what you get, where we have buttons for italic and strike through and underline and everything else. That's all cool and well. It's easy to use, but the problem with these kind of editors and formatting is, as we know, when we, for example, work in Google Docs, we format things, copy, and then paste somewhere else. It's always the question how this pasted text will look like in this other software. So Markdown solves that by being a descriptive language, and we're using these symbols to denote and to format text. So for example, if I put only one hash symbol here, this is header 1. If I put a 2, this is going to be header 2 and header 3. So the good thing about this is any system that implements Markdown parsing that can digest Markdown and display Markdown formatting will always, this is always going to be header 3 in any system. So we have consistency over systems when it comes to or formatting. So that's why it's cool. It's well adapted and accepted throughout different industries, from scientific to technology. And I think it's a good thing that n8n implements this. We have here documentation. Let me just check. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, so sticky notes. There's some issue with the link there. And this is how we can use Markdown and just utilize all these symbols around text to achieve certain visual effects. So this is for you to explore if you want. And we can delete, we can duplicate, we can Control D, we can duplicate. We have also, when we right click on it, tidy up workflow. This is in this case how it's working. We can disable nodes by, or deactivate by selecting and then pressing D on our keyboard, or on right click on the node and just press deactivate. And maybe the last thing for this video is logs panel here on the bottom. When we press here, we see all the logs, all the executions that happened in our workflow. In this case, there's not much to see, but it's great for us to know that we have this option and to also see in different formats. And we're going to talk a lot about different formats of the data. So this is it. We can clear it. And yes, it's time to move on.